Hello, everyone. My name is Chelsea Turner, and today I wanted to talk about the Baroque Concerto um, with Antonio Vivaldi and Maddalena Lombardini Sermin and how they contextualize the violin. I wanted to explore how these composers shaped the concerto for the violin and laid the framework for the instrument's evolving identity, an influence that resonates even in contemporary music. We figure out how the violin inspired innovations in the new age. To appreciate Vivaldi and Sermon's contributions, we briefly examine the Baroque concerto. The Baroque period, roughly spanning 1600 to 1750, witnessed the birth and flourishing of the concerto, a genre built on contrast and dialogue. The most common form was the solo concerto, where a single instrument, often the violin, engaged in a musical conversation with the larger ensemble. Central to this form was the ritornello, or refrain structure. The orchestra would introduce a main theme, which recurred throughout the movement, while the soloist would interject with increasingly elaborate and expressive episodes. This framework allowed composers to showcase both the technical prowess and emotional expressivity of the solo instrument, and set the stage for the violin as a leading voice in Western art music. As Forni and Dell'Antonio note in their scholarship, the interplay of unity and contrast in the Baroque concerto offered fertile ground for musical storytelling and innovation. Antonio Vivaldi, the virtuoso. He is arguably the most iconic Baroque violinist composer. Born in Venice in 1678, he composed over 500 concertos, more than 230 of them for solo violin. Vivaldi's concertos were groundbreaking in that they liberated the violin from its previously subordinate, almost vocal-like role, and elevated it to a vehicle for dazzling virtuosity. Take, for example, his famous collection, The Four Seasons, published in 1725. These works were not just for concertos, they are early examples of program music, vividly illustrating the sounds and moods of each season. Through rapid scales, leaping arpeggios, and dramatic contrast in register and dynamics, Vivaldi depicts spring's birdsong, summer storms, autumnal harvest dances, and the biting chill of winter. In doing so, he invites listeners to experience a journey all orchestrated through the violin. Vivaldi's technical demands, double stops, swift passage work, inventive bowing, set new standards for violin performance. As Michael Talbot discusses in Grove Music Online, Vivaldi's approach was at once daring, descriptive, and deeply influential, creating a template for the concerto's expressive possibilities. Maddalena Lombardini Sermin was a visionary. While Vivaldi's name is well known, Maddalena Sermin's story reveals another fascinating facet of Baroque innovation. Born in Venice in 1745, Sermin trained at the Ospedale della Pietà, the same institution where Vivaldi had taught. Despite the challenges faced by women in professional music at the time, Sermin became a celebrated violinist, composer, and conductor. Her violin concerto in A major exemplifies her sophisticated command of the three-movement concerto form. Sermin's writing for the violin is both virtuosic and expressive, featuring lyrical melodies, intricate ornamentation, and bold harmonic choices. Perhaps most importantly, Sermin asserted her unique artistic voice, expanding the technical possibilities of the violin, but also challenging conventions about who could compose and perform at the highest levels. As Karen Pendle highlights in her entry for Oxford Music Online, Sermin's contribution enriched the repertoire and broadened the scope of musical innovation in the late Baroque and early Classical periods. So what makes the work of Vivaldi and Sermin relevant today? Their innovations continue to echo in modern violin playing and composition. The techniques they developed, such as the use of ritornello form, programmatic storytelling, and technical virtuosity, are still central in violin and performance. For instance, the Four Seasons remains a staple of the concert repertoire and a rite of passage for aspiring violinists. Likewise, Sermin's concertos are increasingly recognized for their originality and are performed and recorded by modern artists seeking to revive overlooked voices in music history. The structure of the Baroque concerto, with its interplay between soloist and ensemble, has inspired countless composers from the classical period to the present. As Robin Stowell notes in the Cambridge Companion to the Violin, the foundations established by Vivaldi and Sermin underpin not just the technical demands of modern violin music, but its expressive range and narrative power. In conclusion, Antonio Vivaldi and Maddalena Sermin's work of the violin and Baroque concerto remain and shape their own time. The work set enduring standards for violin artistry, performance, and composition.